They went to war as farmers, factory workers, and schoolboys. They came home as something nobody had a name for yet: broken men chasing a needle. The war that introduced the machine gun, poison gas, and industrial-scale slaughter also introduced an entire generation to opioid addiction, and nobody was ready for what came after. By 1916, the Western Front had produced casualties on a scale the world had never seen. 60,000 British soldiers wounded or killed on the first day of the Somme alone. The wounds were unlike anything medicine had dealt with before. Deep shrapnel lacerations, shattered bones, gas burns, shell fragments buried in tissue that surgeons couldn't always reach. Surgeons had one immediate tool for the screaming men on their tables: morphine. Fast, reliable, and devastatingly effective at silencing pain that nothing else could touch. Every British soldier carried a morphine syringe in his field kit, a small tin tube with a needle attached, designed for self-injection on the battlefield when no medic was coming. The problem wasn't the first injection, it was the second, the third, the 20th. Because morphine doesn't just kill pain, it kills fear, grief, and the memory of what you just watched happen to the man beside you. Military doctors knew the risk. They administered it anyway, because a soldier screaming in a trench was a soldier who couldn't fight, and there was nothing else. In German field hospitals, the situation was identical. Morphine was standard issue, and addiction crossed every nationality, every rank, every side of the wire. Soldiers who became dependent described the same thing. Without morphine, the trenches became unbearable, not just physically, but psychologically. The drug wasn't managing their wounds anymore, it was managing the war itself. Supply lines behind the front were rife with morphine trading. Soldiers bartering rations, cigarettes, and personal possessions for ampules from stretcher bearers and orderlies willing to look the other way. Officers were not immune. Decorated commanders, men responsible for hundreds of lives, were quietly managing morphine dependencies behind the lines, functioning addicts making life and death decisions. Morphine had been commercially available since 1827, manufactured by Merck in Germany. By 1914, it was cheap, mass-produced, and considered a marvel of modern medicine, a gift from science to suffering humanity. What nobody fully understood yet was the mechanism of physical dependence, that the body, flooded with morphine, would rewire itself and then demand the drug to feel anything close to normal. The armistice came on November 11, 1918. The guns stopped, and hundreds of thousands of morphine-dependent men began returning to cities, towns, and villages that had absolutely no idea what to do with them. There was no treatment infrastructure, no understanding of addiction as a medical condition. Doctors called it soldier's disease and told men to simply stop, as if willpower could rewire a nervous system that morphine had fundamentally restructured. Men who held the line at Ypres, Passchendaele, and the Somme were found in London alleyways, in opium dens, in workhouses, trading everything they had left for a dose that the battlefield had taught their bodies they could not live without. The men who fought the war that was supposed to end all wars came home carrying something invisible, a dependency that the world that sent them to the trenches did not want to see, could not name, and refused to treat. We gave them medals, we built them monuments, we named streets after the battles that broke them. We did everything except look at what we had actually done to them.